Hello everyone, my name is Emma, and today I'm going to be showing you something I've been working on and off for the past 3+ years. This is my world record 6-hour Minecraft roller coaster. So, as you can see, this is pretty darn massive. I started working on this in October of 2018, and I've been just slowly adding to it ever since. Even today, it's not finished. The current ending point of the coaster is somewhere over there, and I'm just going to keep adding to it whenever I feel like it. So today I'm going to be doing a sort of world tour because there's just so much in this thing. If you're looking for the full recording of the entire 6-hour coaster, that is on this YouTube channel, and you can go check it out. Link is in the description. Also note that this YouTube channel is not my main channel. My main channel is just called Erma. I make Geometry Dash videos, so you can go subscribe if you want to. But anyways, here we go. So this right here is the start of the coaster. You go over here, you place down the minecart, you get in it, and you push the button. Whoopsie. And it goes off. Although this was not the original starting point of the coaster. The original starting point was right over here with this little quartz area. The rails went right alongside here, and the button was right on here. But eventually, as the coaster got bigger and bigger, this area just felt more and more insignificant, and so I moved over the starting point, and eventually I planned to make some sort of structure around here to make it feel much more grand and significant because it's the start of such a amazing roller coaster. So I'm going to first lead you through some of these structures, because one of my rules for the roller coaster, of which there are many, is that there has to be a very significant amount of change and movement and excitement and interesting structures. Over here was the very first structure. Actually, I'm going to go for into spectator mode here. This is what I just call the pyramid, a very creative name. So the roller coaster goes on and down this, in the middle and on the sides, and it even goes inside. Right over here, it goes inside, up and down. And then it goes much, much later in the coaster, much closer to the end, it goes inside once again. And then it goes through it at different points. I've basically torn this thing apart, making the roller coaster all the way through it. And if you zoom out now, this thing is tiny in the grand scheme of things. Later in the coaster, you encounter what I call the Nether House. You go inside here, and you go through this hallway of nether portals. Fun fact, I actually haven't generated the nether on this world. I don't know whether I ever will, actually. You go through here, there's this spooky little table with a cake, with these makeshift chairs using scaffolding and trapdoors, a little pile of ore. You go up here and around, and this little ominous area with these cobwebs, and you go down here, fall down, and go underground for a little bit. And speaking of underground, everything you see up here isn't the entire coaster, because it goes underground as well. This kind of looks like the main section because there's this giant little pit I blew up with TNT. You fall down here from right around there. You fall down and you keep falling all the way down to what at the time was the lowest point in the world. And you go around here for a while, and there's different points where you go all the way down to bedrock, separate from this little cave cavern thing. So it looks, I think, pretty interesting. It looks like it's like a pit with different places branching out. Then there's, I'll go to this place. This was inspired by, if you wanted to play hide and seek on this roller coaster, it would be a very interesting place to hide where nobody would ever find you, because these holes where you go down are very not suspicious. And they're just not really doing much. But in here, it's like it's in the middle of the underground, surrounded by so much dirt, and nobody would ever find you here. You can even hide in this little corner. Although I guess I'm showing it to you all now, so I'm not sure that applies anymore. There's this other underground place where you head into this tunnel, and you fall all the way down to bedrock. And then there's this little tunnel with the stained glass, which I really liked. And then you bounce off of that wood thing, and then you go all the way back up. Let's see, there's this other place underground where you go down, and then there's this super long hallway. But yeah, there's so much underground stuff, even like closer to the surface, because like if I wanted to travel from here to slightly over further, I had to do it underground because there's so many rails in the way. And if you look up here, you can see how many redstone torches I used. They're just absolutely everywhere. If I go into the statistics of this world, I've used over 8,000 redstone torches, which heck of a lot. Um, while we're here, this is another little structure. Well, not quite little, but this is the rainbow wall. Um, and every one of these rails is you go on it twice, once in each direction. And that is actually a huge part of the roller coaster, and it's part of the reason I was able to make it so long. I mean, of course, this is just a massive project. There's well over like 130,000 rails. Um, but it wouldn't be as long if it weren't for this little trick, which I will show you now. Okay. And I thought this was pretty clever. So the idea is that if you're on a roller coaster, in Minecraft, this wouldn't work in real life without serious injury. If you fall down with momentum, so you fall off this and you would start, moving along the rail this way. And so you keep going, you go on here for a little while, and eventually you hit a wall. And due to how the physics of minecarts in this game work, you would hit the wall and automatically bounce off. You would retrace your steps, and you would go under here in the opposite direction and turn into this new direction. And this basically means that anything from here to there, you go over twice, once in each direction. So I can show this in action. So it falls off of here, it bounces off of there, and then it goes off in this new direction. And so if you made this section, say 5 minutes long from here to there, then it would actually be 10 minutes because you go 5 minutes this way and then 5 minutes back. So it adds some artificial length to the roller coaster. I did use that a lot in here, but it's not all of that. There's a lot of just regular rails as well. One of my many rules for the coaster is that each rail can only be traveled on once in each direction. So there's no place where, say, over here, maybe you go over it this way, and then later you go over it this way. But then you never go over it this way again, or this way. These rails are done. And that's just so, like, there's no artificial, like, loops or anything. This coaster is finite. It is about 6 hours and 15 minutes long. And sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place in my words. I did not script this. But anyways, this is the giant rainbow wall. And it's actually 2 things thick. So you go over these parts at one point, and then slightly later, you go over this part. And I thought this looked really, really nice. It added a huge splash of color into the world. Not that there isn't a lot of color already. While we're up here, this is the pink house. You might be starting to notice a trend with not super creative names. The first time you encounter this in the coaster, you're going up here, and you just kind of go around. It's not super interesting, but it's kind of a cool sight to see in the sky. And then much later in the coaster, you do this again, but sort of more on the outside of the house. So it's a little bit different. This over here is the Prismarine hallway. The idea, I'm going to go over back into Spectator. The idea for this is that if I ever streamed, like live streamed, working on this roller coaster and people donate, then I could put their name on a sign in this hallway. And you could see I was very optimistic of how many donations I would get, although I haven't actually really started up those streams yet. But yeah, I thought this was quite fun. I'm gonna leave the ore building, the ore cube, for a bit later because that's my favorite one. Fairly early on the coaster, like I think less than an hour in, you encounter this emerald building. And the idea with this one is that I wanted it so that you could look down and it would kind of look like a mine shaft with many different rails going off in different directions. And I think I kind of achieved that look, although maybe it would be nice if there were even more rails than there are now. It doesn't look very nice, it's just this huge lime green color, but whatever, it's kind of historical now. Let's see. This is another favorite of mine. It's supposed to just be like a nice colorful spot in the sky, and I think I've achieved that pretty well. Over here you can see another variation of what I call the rebound technique with this little trick over here. So what I do here is you go this way, but instead of bouncing off something, it simply drops you off from above. So very slightly different. Let's see. This is a case you fall from way up here and you land on here and go all the way down onto here. So that's fun. Also, I mentioned this little area earlier. What I really like about this is that when you look at it from the side, it looks like you enter this sort of deep slate thing from here, and you exit from here, or maybe vice versa. When in reality, you enter it through here, and then you fall all the way to bedrock, as I showed earlier. And then much later in the coaster, you enter from this way, and you fall onto these rails, and you start going in this direction. This is another very cool structure. I mean, it's not that cool, I just think it's interesting. It kind of almost looks like a TV with many, many pixels and sort of this round look, and whatever this tail thing is on the end. But the point of this is that when you go through here, it opens up, and it's about the 100,000 rail mark. This is where I placed, well, around this area was when I placed the 100,000th rail in this coaster. And later you go through it backwards, of course. What else? This thing I think is pretty fun. It's just like a sort of ender tower. This is supposed to look like some sort of eye. And no structure is free from having rails. So you go in through here, and you go up the sort of arms of this thing in a loop. And then eventually you hit this, and you fall all the way down to here, and you start going backwards. Whoops, there's a lot of lag spikes. I should lower the render distance, maybe. What is some other stuff? This is a sort of wood hallway. It's not super interesting. Many parts of these coasters, I can remember exactly what I was doing when I was building it, which I think is just very, very fun. For example, in this long hallway over here, when I was building this, I was, on my second monitor, I was watching a YouTube video about SCP-055. I binged a lot of SCP animation videos while making this coaster, especially recently, just because they're very fun, and I can just watch them in the background as I'm working on this. What else? This is another thing I really, really like. It's sort of completely freestanding. It goes all the way from bedrock to the new 1.18 world limit. And the idea for this is, although it's just one tower, you go up and down at many different times. And by many, I mean about 3. So you originally enter it through this rail, and you go up here, and you start going around the perimeter of this thing on the outside rail. And then you go all the way to the top, which is a long, long journey, as you can see. And then once you get to the very, very top, where is it? You're going around here, and you get dropped off here. And, well, you start the long fall from the very top of the world in 1.18 all the way to the 1.18 world's depth. You land here, and you fall here, and you hit this block, and for some reason, Minecraft physics is weird. You start going this way. So, you go up, going around these things. And these are the different rails that you went up before, because these are the inside rails, not the outside ones. So you go all the way up to the world limit. It's fairly tedious, but it looks quite cool. You go all the way up, and then, whoa, okay, you hit one of these wood things, and it's one of the rebounds. You go all the way back down. So you go up, and then you go down, you fall all the way down, and then you go all the rails up and down. It's, oh my gosh, I love it. It's terrible, but I love it. And this time, instead of landing here, you fall down, you go around here, and you go on here. And you go all the way up, and all the way up, along here. Let's see. One more thing. This isn't, like, really a structure, but it's still something I quite like. So you go all the way up this thing to the world height, And it's sort of like a ping pong thing. You go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and then you go back and forth faster and faster. Here was kind of fun. You hit this activator rail, and you go here. Slime blocks bounce you up. You land right about here, hit the blocks, and fall all the way down to there. And speaking of slime blocks, there's another place that uses them. Here you go up this lime green stairwell thing, hit this activator rail, bounce off this, go really high, land here, keep going, and then the same redstone line goes even farther, so you fall here, you bounce up here, and this pushes you all the way across onto this lime green part where you just keep on going. Now I will show you my favorite structure, the ore cube. This thing is meant to look very, very ominous. It's a 50 by 50 block of random ores. To make this, I just put all the different types of ores in my inventory, in my hotbar, and I scrolled my mouse wheel really, really fast and just clicked to place all of these blocks. And it's especially ominous because there's only one entrance. There is no other place where you can enter or exit, even if you go underground. There's nothing. So, there's 7 layers to this thing, and it looks so much bigger from the inside. Like, from the outside, especially in the grand scheme of things with the whole coaster, it doesn't look like that big. But on the inside, it's huge. So, you go in here, and you encounter the first layer, which isn't too interesting. You just kind of go around with these rails, sea lanterns sliding things up. Eventually, you go up these stairs, and you get to the next layer. I kind of spoiled the third. And it's pretty similar to the first layer, except it's a bit darker. Everything is lit up only by redstone torches that are powering these rails. And eventually you get to the third layer, which is probably my favorite, because it looks so interesting, I think. You have this cool little design with these slopes, because these slopes get small and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and from the other side it's the opposite. Small, bigger, 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 and it has this cool little opposite effect here. And of course, behind these slopes is more rails. When I was building this part of the roller coaster, I was watching a Megamind movie analysis. Fun fact. I really like these glow mushroom things in the sky. It makes this thing very atmospheric and lights it up pretty well. After you do all of that, you climb up here and get to this layer, which I wanted to look almost like a factory. Just like repetitive, but like up and down and sort of interesting. Almost like some sort of circuitry. And I think I pulled that off. It looks pretty fun. I mean, like, going over this is not fun, but looking at it is fun. And eventually you go up another layer to this huge spiral. You go all the way around the very outside. And then you go one layer in, and you go all the way around here, and you keep doing that all around, until you get to the center. And by the way, this looks just really cool from the bottom, and this looks so cool from the bottom looking up. I used a lot of tinted glass. But anyways, once you get to the center, you go up to the maze layer. You go kind of around here, you do a lot of loops, a lot of turns, and at some point where is it? How did I lose my place? I guess it's not called a maze for nothing. Eventually, you go around here, and you go up to the last layer, which is supposed to look more ominous than ever, because the only light sources are in the middle from here, and in the very corners of the room. And you just keep going around and around, there's so many rails, and eventually, you hit this rebound spot, and you do the entire thing backwards. All in all, this entire cube, from entrance to exit, right here, lasts about 45 minutes, which I think is really fun, because it's like, if you're looking from the outside, somebody goes in, 45 minutes, complete mystery what happens, and then they come out. So it's very fun. And this is the rebound system for the cube. You just fall off of here, do the cube, you come back this way, and you go off in this new direction. What else? There's so much stuff to talk about. I love this world so much. Okay, this is, I'll show you the original part, where you fall from the world height limit. That's right here. This is very, very, like in the first, like, couple minutes of the coaster, you go all the way up this big staircase, and you go here, and you fall, and you fall, and you fall. For a long time, because Minecraft worlds are very tall. And you land right here. And you go this way, and later you go this way, and you fall here, and you go this way for a while. Eventually, you bounce off of some wood, and you go this way. So it's sort of like a double rebound system. And of course, there are many more drops in the coaster. This is the first time you drop from the very world height limit all the way to bedrock because you go into that glowstone hole that I showed you earlier. I really like this rainbow bridge thing. There's this yellow spiral at the world limit. This wood thing, more stuff. And a lot of things don't really have much of a purpose, but I thought just look cool, like this blue glass sort of highway thing. I don't know. It's very fun. I like this world a lot. There's other interesting parts, like this thing. I don't know. It's like this sort of not triangle, like pyramid structure. And on the four corners are like things poking out, like this thing going from here to here. It's very sort of symmetrical, and here to there. And then there's this part, and then the part where you actually originally go up. Oh, I forgot a big structure, the aquarium. You enter through here. I like this a lot. You go this way. Whoosh, and you circle around, and you see these guys. I love these guys. Whoops. They have very creative names, all of these axolotls. Very unique, interesting names. One of each type. And then you see some fish with, again, very unique, interesting names. So that's the aquarium. There we go. At some point, I want to create something inside here, but I don't know what to do yet. Also, if you're worried, because so much of this roller coaster is made up of oak wood, and you're worried something might catch on fire, do fire tick, the game rule. Game rule, do fire tick. It's disabled. If something catches on fire, it's not going to spread. The roller coaster's fine. Oh my gosh, lots of lag. This is a big world. And then there's other fun parts of the coaster, like you go over here, press the activator rail, slime block jumps you up, and you land on this rail right here and keep going. I think it's very fun. I've always wanted to play hide and seek on this world because I think it would be so fun. There's so many different hiding places, some of which I've showed off, some of which I'll keep a secret just in case I ever do play. Here's another little fun part of the coaster. I like how this little corner thing looks. The idea is you just kind of go over here and you fall down there, and then you snake your way back up around the sides. And I think that has a cool little effect. Here's another part I like with this netherite. This was a very expensive build. Luckily, I'm in creative mode, and you go all the way up to the 1.18 world height, and you have this spiral thing with lots of netherite. And then you go down. Very, very fun. When you're looking at this from the top, it looks a lot like a circuit board, I think. I don't know, especially with these, like, lime green parts here. I don't know, it's fun. What else? There's so much stuff here. Oh, there's this, blue thingy. The idea with this is that I wanted to, each of these, like, lines of rails, like you go from here all the way up here, across and down, I wanted, like, each of these lines to be at very, very different points in the roller coaster. So, like, for example, maybe you'll go up and then later across the thing down this line, and then, like, 20 minutes later, you'll do this one. And, like, if you see, like, this one versus this one, they're, like, multiple hours apart. I haven't completely filled it out. There's some ones that I have yet to use up, as you can see. But I think it's pretty fun. And of course, I utilize the space below. Right here is the end of the roller coaster, or at least for now. And I mark it with diamond so that you can find it, because at one point I had a problem where I couldn't find the end, so I started marking it. And you can see it says 2 here, no rebound. And what that just means is that I'm not planning on, like, well, it's supposed to be oak wood, but, like, doing this so you bounce off. The reason I have to keep track is because if I want it to be a rebound, but then I, you know, build this up and have you fall off like this way, then if you rebound, it's not going to work right. So, you know, I have to keep track. So I have, my inventory is full, by the way. I used like this basalt for that underground bunker you saw earlier. I use a lot of glowstone. When I was building the ore cube, I needed a lot of splash potions of night vision and milk buckets when I wanted it to go away. This is my to here yes rebound sign. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you do want to check out the full recording of all 6 hours of this coaster, again, that link will be in the description. Although, just because it's 6 hours and 15 minutes long now, doesn't mean it will be later. Like, I'm gonna keep working on this world. I don't plan on ever, like, adding an official end to the roller coaster. Because why would I? This is, like, one of my biggest achievements. It is a world record by such a big amount. I love it. I'm very proud. Um, wow, this is just so much stuff. I really don't have much more to say, so I'm gonna stop it here. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want. I don't really care. This is my second channel. I just post random clips here. But if you're interested in Geometry Dash, feel free to follow my Geometry Dash channel. Link is in the description. Thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this roller coaster. I certainly enjoy it. Thank you for watching.